إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على سيدنا ونبينا مولانا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا مولانا محمد صلاة دائمة موجودة بعد قول العظيم نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن صدق الله مولانا العظيم وبلغنا رسوله النبي الأمين المكين الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين رب أعظم ومدد سرو ساما مدد إبلاء دين مدد قاداء إمام مدد قادريا نعرائي رب أعظم الجنم نبي الشيخ أحمد رضا رب العالم الجنم سيدي يا مرشدي شاه مصطفى زندہ مسلک سرکار اعلیٰ اعلیٰ حضرت زندہ یا الہی مسلک احمد رضا زندہ اس نام سے رسالت کا ذمہ دار ہے سیدی یا مرشدی شاہ مصطفى زندہ حامل فیض رضا مصطفى امداد کن صلی اللہ علیہ النبی الأمی وآلہ صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم صلاة وسلام علیک یا سیدی یا سندی یا حبیبی یا حبیبی یا رسول اللہ صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا رحمة للعالمين. All praise be to Almighty Allah. Durban and salam upon the most perfect, exalted and glorified of Allah's creation. Sayyidina Maulana Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. In blessing the salutations of the Anbiya Ikram, Ahbab Afthab, Sahaba Ikram, Tajushariah, Tabain, Tabain, Imam, Mustahideen, Awliya Kamilin, and all those who follow the path to the last day. We thank Almighty Allah for His infinite mercy and to the Rasulullah of Rasul Akram, the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, for blessing us with the opportunity to lead Salat al-Jummah and to respect His most exalted cause. Before continuing further, let us all direct our hearts and our minds and our thoughts towards the holy and the sanctified court of the beloved Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and it brings us let us collectively recite the Sharif. Allahumma salli ala sayyidina wa nabiyina wa ala Muhammadin wa ala alihi sayyidina wa Muhammadin wa ashabihi wa barik wa sallim alayhi salatu wa salamun alayka ya sayyidi ya habibi ya tabibi ya Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wa ala alika wa ashabika ya rahmatan lil alamin. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Once again, Almighty Allah has blessed us with the auspicious and the glorious month of Ramadan al-Mubarak. And Alhamdulillah, we are blessed with the first Jummah of Ramadan today. And as the Jummahs pass, we remind ourselves about how fast Ramadan passes us. And it is the first Jummah of Ramadan, but it is already the fourth Raza. And before you know it, it will be the next and the next and the next Jummah, and the month of Ramadan will leave us. And as I said last week, the question that we each need to ask ourselves is that how much of benefit are we taking from this holy month of Ramadan? For simple understanding, this holy month of Ramadan is a massive tree. For understanding purpose, this holy month of Ramadan is a massive tree, and the fruits of this tree are reaching out to us. Every tree that has fruits, you have to reach the fruit. But this is that tree that the fruits are reaching out to us. How many of us are stretching our hand to pluck those fruits? Is the question. Is the question that you and I have to ask ourselves, that every tree you have to reach out to pluck. And this tree is reaching out to you. And its fruits are all beautiful and ripe. And they are not just fruits of this world, they are fruits of Jannah also. This is that month when the 8 doors of Jannah al-Firdaus are open. All the gates of Jannah are opened upon us. Allah's mercy is descending upon you in abundance. Allah's mercy is raining and pouring upon you in abundance. Are we standing under that mercy, or are we trying to shelter? Are we looking for that mercy? Are we striving to pluck the beautiful fruits that are on the great tree of Ramadan? So that these fruits may be a means of our spiritual and our deeni nourishment in this month and after this month as well. So this great tree is here with all its splendors and all its beauty. How many of us are really taking in our daman the fruits? In reality, this tree is not even reaching out to you to pick up the fruit. It's allowing the fruits to fall on your daman. But if you and I ourselves do not make the effort, then kya fayda? What benefit is there? This month, being the month of barakat, the month of blessings, and all Allah's mercy descending in abundance in this month, this is also the month where we remember some very great and Mubarak personalities. Those who left this world in the month of Ramadan. And amongst them, I'm going to discuss very briefly 2 great and blessed servants of Almighty Allah, whom Allah has blessed with great eminence. One left this world on the 3rd of Ramadan, and one left the world on the 10th of Ramadan. Those that are after that we will discuss later. The first is HAZRAT Sayyidah Faatimah Radi Allahu Anha, the beloved daughter of the beloved Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, whose every day and every night was spent in the ibadat of Almighty Allah. She didn't only make ibadat when the month of Ramadan came. Her days and nights were in ibadat. Her days and nights were in serving and following in accordance with the command of Allah and His beloved Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Think about it. That woman whose entire days and nights are in ibadat, that woman whose entire life is spent in the remembrance of Allah and His beloved Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, can you think and imagine how much more she must have strived when the month of Ramadan came? We do it when Ramadan comes. They do it all the time. And how much more so in this holy month of Ramadan? That should be a lesson for us. You know, today we have everything. What are you short of? What am I short of today? Even if we are going through the most difficult time, almost everyone still has a roof over his head. Almost everyone can still have a morsel of food. No matter what difficult time you're going through in life. Because the ni'mats are from Allah, and in Ramadan, the sustenance is increased manifold. Right? We have all of this. We have everything. We wear the best of clothes. We dress with the best. Today our children want to wear everything designer. But the designer must be the designer of the kuffar, not the designer of the Muslims. That is the problem, right? But we do everything that we call the best. We are dressed in the best. We eat the best. We drive the best. We sit in the best. We live in the best. We sleep on the best. And yet, all of that which you do, will it benefit you in your akhirat? How much will it benefit you? It will only benefit you if you sacrifice that which you think is best for that which is really best. Then it will benefit you. The house of the beloved Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the noble family of the beloved Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and the Sahaba of Rasul Pak sallallahu alayhi wa sallam lived such humble and simple lives. But they did not leave one moment out when it came to the remembrance of Allah. We have everything, but how much shukr do we make? How much sabr do we make? Even in the month of Ramadan, people are swearing. If they say in the month of Ramadan, please, I'm telling you, it's Ramadan month, don't make me upset, I can't control my anger. I didn't have my cigarette today. This month came so you control your anger. This month came so that you control your inner self and your nafs. If we can't do that in this month, when will you do it? Think about it. Let us look at the house of Faatimah Zahra. Look at the trials which they faced. There is a hadith that is reported by Imam Cassim. He says that once Sayyidah Faatimah Radi Allahu Anha became very ill. Sayyidah Faatimah Radi Allahu Anha became very ill. So he said, Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said to me, will you accompany me to visit Faatimah Radi Allahu Anha? Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said to Hazrat Imran, will you accompany me to visit HAZRAT Faatimah Radi Allahu Anha? He said, why not, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? They wanted to be in the company of the beloved Nabi every time, all the time. He said, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, why not? He says, then we arrived at the home, at the hujra of Hazrat Faatimah Zahra radiallahu anha. It must have been a little house and a little room. If you go to Masjid of Rasulullah, you will see in the back section, that used to be where the Rawda Mubarak is towards the side. That used to be the hujra of Hazrat Faatimah Zahra initially. They went to the house of Hazrat Faatimah Zahra radiallahu anha. He says, when we arrived there, Sayyidina Rasulullah, it is the house of his daughter, but he didn't just open the door and walk in. This is Allah's Nabi. He didn't just enter. The beloved Rasul sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, the companion says, when we reached the house of Faatimah Zahra Radi Allahu ta'ala anha, when we arrived there, Rasul Pak sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, may I and the one who is with me enter? Sought permission. May I and the one who is with me enter? She said, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, you may enter. Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, you may enter. But oh my beloved father sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, who is with you? You may enter. But who is with you? Because by Allah, she took a Cassim. Because by Allah, I have only one cloak, one jubbah, one covering, one libas, which I have with me to wear, and no other clothing in my house. This is the house of Faatimah Zahra. Nothing else in a home at that time. Nabi Akram Noori Mujassam Surul Al-Musina, Tajdar Madina Fakhre Mawjudat, HAZRAT Ahmad Mustafa Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, say sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Make it a habit when you hear the name of Rasul to say sallallahu alayhi wa sallam every time. Our Nabi said, the one who hears my name and refuses to send durood and salam upon me is a miser. There are narrations that that person who hears the name of the Nabi and he doesn't send durood sharif, he has wandered away from the path of Jannah. He has wandered away from the path of Jannah. So say sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, don't be shy. Everything else we want to say. But when it comes to sending durood upon Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, difficult. It has become, it's sad it has come to this extent. You see people making posters for Milad Sharif. You see them writing books. You see them making invitations. They filled so much of information on the poster. So many titles for the entire whoever. But when it comes to sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Muhammad S.A.W. Abbreviate. They abbreviate. Can you ever abbreviate durood upon Allah's Nabi? You got space to write everything. You got no space to write sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Stop this habit. It's destructive. The first person who did this with intent, his hands were cut off. Because he abbreviated the durood upon Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We should avoid this completely. So when you hear durood, say sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Why I say it a bit louder? So that the person next to you will listen. If he forgot, he'll also say it. So say sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So she said, Ya Rasulullah, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, my beloved father, who is with you? You may enter, but who is with you? Because I only have one libas, one jummah, one cloak, whatever it was, to put on. And I do not have anything else in my house, nothing else to cover. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, wear it, O Fatima, in the manner that you cover your entire body. Wear it such a way that you cover your entire body. She said, Ya Rasulullah, by Allah, I have nothing to cover my head with if I use this. I will cover my body, but there's nothing to cover my head with at that time. Can you think about it? What don't you have in your homes? We have so much of clothes in our cupboards that lie there for years of it, which we don't pick up and wear at all. It's only there because I paid so much for it. Today, we go to functions, our women folk especially, wear one and don't want to wear it again. We are the ummah of that Nabi who sewed patches on his clothes.
Subhanallah.
We are the ummah of that Nabi who sewed patches on his clothes. But with all that, look at the humility of the house of Rasulullah. There is no greater household than the household of Rasulullah. There is no women in that zamana, and today, like Sayyidah Faatimah Radi Allahu Anha, but she doesn't even have something to cover her head at that time. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when he heard this, Rasul Pak took out his chadar mubarak, he took out his shawl, his mantle, and his Fatima, he gave it to the boy. He said, Fatima, cover yourself. Subhanallah. Cover your head with this. He gives the chadar mubarak to Fatima Zahra. And Hazrat Sayyidina Imran says, when we entered the house of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, she was ill at that time, to the house of Fatima Zahra. Rasul Pak said, oh my beloved daughter. See, this is teaching you also how to be with your children, how to behave with your daughters. This is how Rasul Pak loved them. Okay? So Rasul Pak enters and he says, oh my beloved daughter, how are you? Oh Fatima, how are you? She said, Ya Rasulullah, I am in discomfort, because she was very ill. And the discomfort is increasing as I have nothing to eat. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. This is the daughter of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Every time you decide to take food from your plate and throw it into a bin, every time you decide to make nashukri for that which is on your dastarkhan, remember this is the house of Rasulullah. If they wished, then from Jannah the meals would have come down on their dastarkhan. But this was their patience, this was their sabr. She says, Ya Rasulullah, I'm becoming even more ill because there is nothing to eat. The beloved Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, oh my beloved Fatima, oh my beloved daughter. He didn't tell her that why has your husband not provided for you to eat? Why has Ali not provided you for it? Because Rasulullah knows what even Mawla Ali is going to do. And today, kya hal hota hai? What is the condition? Because the wife only fried 6 samosa, you didn't get 10 bhajia, you cried. This is the house of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. She says, Ya Rasulullah, I'm becoming weak, oh my beloved father, I'm ill because I have not eaten, so I've become weaker during this illness. Do you know what the Nabi answers? Look at his answer. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, oh my beloved Fatima, are you not pleased that you are the queen of the women? He didn't say anything about the food. He didn't say that you didn't get to eat. He said, are you not pleased that you are the queen of the woman? She said, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, what about Sayyidatuna Maryam bint Imran? What about HAZRAT Maryam Radi Allahu Anha? Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, she is the queen of the women of her time. You are the queen of the women of your time. You are the queen of the women of your time. And after the Nabi said that, listen what he says. He says, by Allah, I have married you to one. I have married you to that person who is a leader in this world and a leader in the Akhirah. What did the Nabi tell her? A leader. In other words, he told her that he's a leader from amongst the leaders. Abu Bakr is a leader, Omar is a leader, Osman is a leader, and Ali is a leader. But the answer that he said, what he said in the end, was she was not complaining about food. She was saying, I'm becoming weak, I'm sick because I have not eaten properly. And the Nabi is telling you, are you not happy that you are the queen of Jannah? Are you not happy that I married you to that man who is a leader in this dunya and in the Akhirat? Look at how Nabi is giving her tasalli. Rasulullah Pak sallallahu alaihi wasallam is giving her tasalli. And Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that she is the woman of her time. She is the queen of the woman of her time. and you are the queen of the woman of your time, and your husbands are the leaders of this dunya and the akhirat. And this is something to think about, that this is the house of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I was going to discuss Sayyidah Faatimah Khadija as well, but there is no time. We will inshallah next week. But hopefully inshallah next week it will not be immediately in the lecture. Inshallah it will be Wali ibn Wali, Sultanul Asad, AALA Mufti, Mustafa, Qaadiri, inshallah. If everything goes as planned, you will have Hazrat Kabir here next week Friday. But then the week after that we will talk about Sayyidah Khadija. But think about it for a moment. And when you think about this difficult time which the family of Rasulullah went through, and the sabr that they made, and think about their generosity, and you look at other narrations in the life of the daughter of Rasulullah, that when anybody would come to her, even if she didn't have enough for her own home, she gave it in the love of Allah and His Rasul. Today there are those of us who have so much, but it's difficult for us to put our hands in our pockets. It's difficult for us to put our hands in our pockets. It's difficult for us to spend for the pleasure of Allah and His beloved Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And just while I'm talking to you, I'm just looking at the prices of the nisab, etc., so I can remind you about them. And it's very important for us to understand that if we really want success in this dunya, then this month of salvation has come to us. This month of forgiveness has come to us. Take the full barakat of this month, because every day of Ramadan that you wasted, you won't get it back. I'm going to end by asking you, how many of you have started making tilawat of the Quran? Don't answer that. How many of you started making tilawat of the Quran? How many sifara have you read up to now? You ask yourself. We're not telling the Hufaz, mashallah, they are on the musalla. They're reading and they're blessing you also. But how many have you made effort on your own? Something to think about. This is the month in which the Quran was revealed, and we don't even make effort to read the Holy Quran. Where's the Quran? In the shelf. It's on the shelf. Say we keep it very high out of order. It's so high that when you take it out, you have to first take out the dust. When last you pick it up? Think about it. It's something very important to think about. So may Allah give us tawfiq and khair. And don't forget that you have to fulfill your responsibilities, your zakat, your sadaqat, etc. So it is that the current nisab is 8,922 and 70 cents. 8,000, the nisab that we have worked out currently is 8,922 and 70 cents after all your expenses. If you have this amount of gold or silver, the both combined equivalent to 8,922 and 70, you have to pay zakat. And if you have that after everything, then you can't take zakat. Okay, keep this in your mind. So 8,922 and 70. The other thing is that the fitrah 35, and I'm telling you early. So you got to hold on that, remember. So please take heed to this, pay attention, and if you need us, if you want to weigh your vote, if you want any assistance in that regard, please communicate with us. We are doing it as a free service at Imam Mustafa Raza Center. You don't have to pay us anything to do it. We do you this service so that you can work out correctly what is your zakat and dispense it as especially the Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Keep us in mind that the words of Imam, those who are here, those that are passed away, those special dua for the mother of Rizwan in the UK who passed away on the eve of the 3rd of Ramadan. May Allah exalt her in the God with the sadaqah of Zahra Radi Allahu. May Allah give her children and her family and her husband and all of them. Allah keep us with Imam and the Muslims with Imam.